After spending countless weeks exploring the best of South Australia, it is finally time to wrap things up and take on one of Australia's most iconic drives, the infamous Nullarbor Plain. This stretch of road runs for over 1,200 kilometres through seemingly endless, flat, open spaces, but there is so much more than meets the eye. After all, this is where the outback meets the ocean. In this video, I'll dive into some fascinating history, go on the hunt for sinkholes, and of course pay way too much for fuel. But if that doesn't quite do it for you, trust me, my camp cooking might. It's something I love sharing on my adventures, and today I'm whipping out one of my absolute favourites, the best camp gnocchi you'll ever taste. So stick around, and if you're not already subscribed, please do me a solid and hit that subscribe button. Your support honestly means the world to me. Good morning, guys. As you would have seen in my intro, we are about to tackle probably Australia's most iconic road trip, which is the Nullarbor Plain. Now, this has been a huge bucket list item of my mind for so long now. The fact that I was supposed to be in Western Australia last year, yeah, we are definitely keen to get over there and just explore pretty much for the rest of 2025, but we've got a lot of driving ahead of us. So if you don't know, the Nullarbor, it technically starts at Ceduna in South Australia and finishes in Norseman in Western Australia. So it spans across about 1,200 kilometres across the two states, but it is a completely sealed road. So literally anybody can do this road trip. Now, we have obviously already passed Ceduna, which you would have seen in my last video. We're going to be kicking off our road trip pretty much at the head of the bight. So where we are now, we are not going to be crossing the border today. We could easily do it. I think we're probably like 2 hours away, but there is so much to see over the South Australia side of the Nullarbor. So yeah, we're definitely going to do a little bit of exploring. If you know this area, there is like this bucket list item camping site here as well. So we're going to be heading on over there. So yeah, we're going to be taking it pretty slow today. And then I think from tomorrow onwards, that's where we'll get a big chunk of the driving done. But let's get on the road. I'm so excited to explore this area. But fun fact, because I'll be sharing a lot of these over the next couple of days. So Nullarbor literally means no trees. So this entire area, although it looks like there's not much to see, there is so much to see and explore in this area. So let's get on the road. So I know I said that the roads were sealed, but there's definitely a couple of turnoffs that you can take, obviously, to go out and explore, which we are absolutely going to be doing. But there is a stop off literally like 2 minutes from where we just were, called Whitewell's Cave. So this entire area, if you didn't know, so the whole Nullarbor Plains underneath is literally just like honeycomb, or at least that's what they refer to it as, because what will happen is like rain will fall, it will seep into the limestone, and it's created like all these underground caves and river systems, which I'm not even kidding. People literally cave dive these, and I would never. Like, I love diving, but that's probably the extent of what I would get out and do. But it just means that there is, I was literally about to step into it, there's literally these caves or sinkholes that you can explore in the area, which is insane to think about. But I don't know if this is the exact spot, but let me show you guys this. So I found all those smaller sections, but I haven't found the main cave. So I might actually throw the drone up and see if I've got a little bit of a better aerial view. Those drone shots are insane. To think that there is just like this huge mass of like expansive nothingness that is still so uniquely beautiful is so cool to see. Now, I actually didn't find like the main sinkhole I mentioned. I definitely saw all the smaller ones that you guys would have seen just then as well. So not too sure where that bigger one is. Maybe it was there and I just didn't spot it. But yeah, it's kind of crazy to think that that is literally under our feet. Like, I find that stuff so fascinating. But we're going to continue our little road trip now. We've got probably about an hour's drive. So we're going to make our way out to the Great Australian Bight Scenic Lookout number 1. So there's heaps of these lookouts along our road trip, but even as far as fuel goes, I feel like a lot of people think there isn't much as far as fuel. There's probably a fuel station or Roadhouse like every 200 kilometers, so you're definitely safe in that part, but it's still good to plan your trip. Obviously fuel's going to be a little bit more expensive, so obviously try to top up where you can, but let's get on the road. So I didn't even get that far. I realized we were passing by one of the roadhouses, so I stopped in and got coffee. I don't actually need fuel just yet, but I feel like these roadhouses are literally some of the most iconic parts of crossing the Nullarbor. They just have so much character. One thing I will say is the coffee at these roadhouses so far has been elite. Like, probably some of the best coffee I've had, which is a very big call. Whilst I was in the roadhouse, I did pick up this patch. So I've been really meaning to do like a little bit of a keepsake of my travels. I just haven't figured out what to do up until now. So I started this in Port Lincoln. I've started buying these patches. I actually don't have Velcro to attach them just yet, so I'll have to pick that up along the way. I'm going to start putting these up the top of the BT just as like a little bit of a keepsake of my travels. Yeah, definitely going to enjoy this coffee and then we'll get back on the road shortly. So I've made it out to our first lookout for the day. So this is the Great Australian Bight Scenic Lookout number 1. This is beautiful. It is literally just like the photo. It's like, oh, the cliffs are insane. Apparently this is a really good spot to actually watch the southern right whales migrate past. Unfortunately, we're not quite in the season at the moment, but this is still so impressive. So I've just arrived at our campsite for the night, and is this not the most insane campsite you have ever seen? I probably need to be careful of like how close I get to that edge, but we are camping literally on Bunda Cliffs, which is insane. Bunda Cliffs is often referred to as the edge of the world, and when you're standing here, it's so easy to see why. Stretching it over 180 kilometres along the coastline, these towering limestone cliffs rise up to 105 metres above the Southern Ocean, which is so impressive. Now, slowly but surely, they are crumbling, so eroding at around 30 millimetres per year, with huge chunks breaking away into the sea below. It's one of those places you really do have to see in person to appreciate just how wild and impressive it is. And whilst camping isn't officially recommended anymore, it is still a popular spot to park up for the night. Just be prepared for some strong winds, and whatever you do, please don't park too close to the edge. given that I didn't really do a lot of driving today, I'm actually surprised that I'm actually pretty tired. So we might end up having a bit of an early night tonight, but I did end up moving the BT back a little bit as well. So after I put the drone up, I realized that there's that huge crack in front of us, which is a lot bigger than I expected. And look, it's probably not going to go anywhere, but I'd rather play it on the safe side. So moved back, set up camp. For tonight, I'm thinking we might actually cook some gnocchi, which we haven't done in a little while from scratch, because I've got some potatoes, onion, garlic, all of that I need to use, and I figured that would give us some good leftovers for the next couple of days as well. I feel like I said this last time I made this, but if any Italian is watching, I'm probably butchering this entire recipe, but I do not really measure anything. I literally just boil up the potato, I let it rest and then cool down. From there, I add 1 egg, and then I sort of just eyeball how much flour to put in. So I just get it to a point of consistency where like it's not sticky, but it's enough that you can roll it out and then cut it into small sections. And then we're just gonna boil that off and then pan fry it and add in our sauce. So super easy overall. But like I said, if we're talking authentic Italian, probably doesn't quite hit the mark, but tastes bloody delicious. So I definitely prefer my gnocchi on more of the crispier side of things. I'm gonna let that pan fry for a little bit longer. And then yeah, we've got heaps of leftovers, which actually does freeze quite well as well. That definitely looks so delicious. I feel like you can't go wrong with gnocchi. I just literally paired this with just like basic pasta sauce, so nothing over the top, but the only downside about making gnocchi is literally the cleanup, which we will get to soon, but I'm gonna enjoy this. I think tomorrow morning we might get like a relatively early start, like nothing too crazy. I'll get up, sort of leisurely, have breakfast, have coffee, and then I think we'll aim to get on the road by about maybe 7 or 8 o'clock, we'll see, but I'll see you guys in the morning. Morning guys, so we're back on the road. We are literally 20 minutes away from the border, which is crazy to me. For some reason, I thought this first half of the drive would be like crazy amounts of hours, but it's actually been very smooth sailing, very short. So yeah, plan of attack is we're going to head over to obviously the border village, check all that out, cross on over to WA, how exciting, and then there is this beautiful suburb literally right over the border. It's called Ucala, I think it is. I'm probably butchering that as always, but yeah, we're going to check that out. Hopefully the rain holds off, but I think it is actually forecast for some storms later this afternoon, so we're definitely on the road nice and early. Our final stop before crossing into Western Australia was the iconic border village. There are so many iconic photo opportunities here, so this is absolutely a must stop, but if I could make any recommendation is if you can avoid it, do not fuel up here. So fuel was almost $3 a litre, and I quickly realised that there is much cheaper options not far from the border, so if you can, hold off, head into WA and fuel up there. So bit of a rookie error on my part, but after we fueled up, got coffee, we headed right over to the quarantine section where they check your vehicle for any fruit, veg or other prohibited items, and then from there it was straight into Western Australia. It's actually crazy how much the terrain changes literally as soon as you step foot into Western Australia. So you can just obviously continue along the sealed road, but I wanted to make my way out to this spot called the Euclid Jetty. Now, pays to do research because I took this turn off, which you guys would have seen on the drone shots. Incredible, but it was like this red clay dirt, and then now we've literally come into like these sand dunes, so very vast differences. However, I just had a bit of a look because I've got plenty of reception here thankfully, but it looks like you can go to another location and go for like a 20-minute walk to get to the actual jetty. I think the way my maps has taken me, I think it's taking us on a 4-wheel drive track. Look, I wasn't mentally prepared to air the tires down, but I will do it if I have to. So I'm also curious, I showed you guys a bird just before. I've literally never seen one. I thought at first it was like a baby emu by itself, but it was not. So if you do know what that bird is, pop it in the comments, and we're going to continue along this track and see if we can get down to the jetty, potentially the easy way. If not, we'll backtrack. It's always those unplanned adventures that I feel like are the most fun, so that was well and truly worth it. I literally just used Google Satellite to see if I could find some 4-wheel drive tracks, which actually wasn't that hard, and then I used the drone to get the rest of the way here. So let's go check out this jetty. My last stop before getting back on the road was the beautiful old telegraph station. This was built back in 1870, and this remote outpost played a vital role in communication between Western Australia and the eastern states. The telegraph station was once a bustling hub connecting messages across the country, but this now stands in ghostly ruins along with the jetty, which was where ships would actually unload supplies for the telegraph station. So both of these locations really serve as an incredible slice of history for the area. So I figured since I was in the area, I'd go and check out the old telegraph station, which is not too far away from the old jetty. And that was actually established back in like 1877. So pretty cool piece of history. The weather is unfortunately taking a bit of a turn for the worse, which I did expect for this afternoon. So I'm going to close off this video here. The actual end of the Nullarbor finishes up in Norseman, which is the direction I'm heading in. So if I see anything cool along the way, I'll definitely pop it in the end here. But you guys probably expect that I would be heading to more of the southern end of WA, which is actually not the case. So I am throwing a little bit of a curveball, and I'm actually heading up to Perth and then all the way up to Exmouth, because I will be swimming with the whale sharks up in Exmouth in May, which I am so stoked for. So we're definitely going to be kicking off WA with a bang. So I will see you guys all in the next video. Make sure you stick around because I feel like we're going to have so many cool adventures here in Western Australia. But if there's also any recommendations, like places you guys think I should check out, please pop it in the comments below. But as always, thank you guys so much for following along, and I'll see you guys in the next video.